I am back home, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all can hear me. Had a good trip. I made a speech thanking you guys. You guys are going to be able to see that speech in a bit at Blexit, Turning Point USA. And it was a good time. While that was happening, we got big news from Ghislaine Maxwell that she is ready to testify. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. How many of y'all think that Ghislaine Maxwell might not make it throughout this week? I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I think Ghislaine Maxwell, and look, she didn't kill herself. Let's just go with that. Because to let her testify, it's gonna be insane. And apparently, Congress is now attempting to this. Now, this could have been a part of the plan the whole time, like a lot of you guys say, 4D chess. This could have been a part of the plan, but we're gonna see right now because I have a few things to show you guys. Dan Bongino, big news about him, big update about Dan. Big update about the whole thing. But man, the world is crumbling. This is not going away. Many people want this to go away, but it's not. Many people are unsubscribing from channels like Benny Johnson or mine. They're unsubscribing from channels that keep talking about this because they don't want to talk about this anymore. And to me, I'm not going to stop talking about it. And if this bothers you, I don't care. I don't care how many subscribers I lose. I'm going to hold my integrity tight. I'm going to hold my morality right to God. And thank you to those who are still here. I appreciate you. But Dan Bongino, actually have big news about him. He is not gone. He's not going anywhere. So apparently Congress is attempting to prevent Ghislaine Maxwell from disclosing Jeffrey Epstein's list per Daily Mail. So apparently Congress is preventing, who in Congress is trying to prevent Ghislaine Maxwell from disclosing Jeffrey Epstein's client list? Why would Congress try to prevent this? That's a great question. What's going on? The Daily Mail posted, Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, is ready to reveal the truth of the pedophile client list, says insiders. So why are Republicans blocking her? Again, what side are we on? These people that we have voted for, what is going on? Why are you blocking Ghislaine Maxwell? Look, it has not been a good week. It has not been a great week. Many people want to forget about this, but then you got these stories running wild, and then you're supposed to stand up here, act like this is not happening. Republicans are blocking them. Well, what are we doing, right? So again, make sure to smash the like button, spread the word that the Republicans that we have voted for are doing their best to block this from coming out. Okay. And I have a message from Benny Johnson, who has been getting a lot of hate. Benny Johnson gets a lot of hate nowadays. I wonder why.
Ghislaine Maxwell holds the key to so much of this. Ghislaine Maxwell is alive. She's currently in prison. She's serving a 20-year sentence for trafficking children to nobody, remember? Her sentence, of course, is sort of a proxy. What they were going to do to Epstein, they're now doing to Maxwell. Here's what I found out yesterday. There is no further information at the FBI. The FBI doesn't really house trial evidence. The FBI doesn't prosecute people. The FBI refers for prosecution, but the Department of Justice are the prosecutors. They make the final decisions. The vast majority of the Epstein evidence currently resides inside of a place called the Southern District of New York. I was told yesterday on a phone call by a federal official, what do you want us to release? You know, there's bad images. You know, there's bad and nasty stuff there. I don't need that. Nobody needs any abuse material on the internet. That's not what we're asking for. The bloody and insulting idea that we're all like out here calling for the release of child abuse material is probably the most insulting thing about all of this, actually. That's what we're like ravenous for. Shut up. Makes me so angry because it's like attacking the base. No, what we're saying is that our own
Yeah. Real quick. Thank you for your $10 donation, Cheryl Holmes. So here's the tricky part about this, right? We got Democrats begging for the list. We got the Democrats with the ball in their hands, the ball in their court, and Republicans, like, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like Republicans are trying to block this, and then you got Democrats now, begging for the list. And now I guess the Republicans are the party of protecting the. So that's all I'm saying to you. All right, but here's the big news. Let's go to the big news.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to testify. The way to put the dog down is take her out of her cell, put her in front of the American people, and say, yo, what was this exactly? Since you were there and all the firsthand witnesses seem to be dying of mysterious circumstances, including but not limited to Virginia Roberts, who was just killed before this. Why do I say killed? That she's the premier witness to all of Epstein's crimes. She was hit by a bus in the middle of the Australian outback, winds up in the hospital, posts that she's about to die, and then days later, she commits suicide. Come on, man. Dude, like, quit insulting us, right? Like, the lack of creativity, quite frankly, is depressing.
Yeah, so it says Maxwell, 63 years old, is the only person behind bars serving 20 years on child sex trafficking charges, despite the fact that pedophile Jeffrey Epstein allegedly controlled a web of underage girls. Additionally, Epstein's victims alleged they were passed around as sex toys from his wealthy friends and billionaire business associates who regularly visited his home, including his private island, Little St. James. So again, this is why she's in prison. So yeah, I just think that this shit, it just looks bad. But you know who's in Fox News today? You want to know who's at Fox News? You want to know who's out there, receiving all this airtime and killing it? She's killing it for us. She's doing great. She's the best attorney general we've ever had.
Officers are prepared for all the dangerous encounters that you face. Earlier, I was saying when I was a state prosecutor, I've lost a lot of friends. I was there for 18 years. I was felony bureau chief trying hundreds of cases, but I lost a lot of friends who are police officers. This facility behind us today will save the lives of police officers, and that's why you're doing this. It's also, there's no secret that recruitment and retention are tough now for law enforcement officers. It's a challenge we face because of the anti-police rhetoric, no more under Donald Trump, by the way. The attacks on our police officers, we will not stand for any longer.
Yeah, so she's on Fox News. She's killing it, doing her thing. Dan Bongino was at the FBI offices today fulfilling his duties as deputy director per CNN. He did not quit. Dan Bongino is still on the job. Nothing has happened with him. I think that's good news. Again, I think it's good news. I think we should move forward from all this. I think we should forget about this. I think we should just let it go. I think we should let it go, honestly. I think we should let it go. I think we should just forget about it. I think we should just let it be, right? Yeah, we got to move on. Right? Right? How many of you guys agree in the comments? You just got to move on. We got to let this shit go. Look at y'all. Look how many people want to let it go. Y'all sick. I was trolling and look how many people agree. I was trolling and then we got some people like, nah, man, we shouldn't let it go. We should let it go. Crazy. Move on, please. No. We will never move on. Why would you ever want to move on from this? You idiots. Never let this go. I don't care how many subscribers I lose on a daily. Anyways, so Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to testify. We got Republicans blocking her, right? And why are they blocking her? I don't know. But I do got to show you this clip, right? I am going to show you this clip. And here's why I'm doing this. Here's why I get on and I'm doing this and I'm covering this mostly every day that I can. Here's why I'm doing this. And look, we usually have almost 2,000, 3,000 people. Today, we're not hitting that many people. Again, people, they don't care about this. Most of my audience, which is sad, they don't want to be here. We got less than 1,000 people and we usually will have more. We know why. Because people, they want to go to other channels that make them feel good about the fact that they're not talking about this no more. They want to talk about winning. We're winning. We're doing great. We're winning. Winning would be not looking this crazy in front of the world. The Trump administration looks absolutely bananas. And that's the truth about this whole thing. You want to talk about transparency. You want to talk about the biggest thing. Look, if you are out there screaming that you should forget about this and we should just let it go, You look absolutely insane running cover for the same reason Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison. You know what I mean? And I don't care how much winning America does. If America can't grasp a hold of people that were at this island that did some of the wildest and the most shadiest stuff, and then we got a group of these girls who were victims, and we know that these things were happening, and you promised us that you'll get it done, and now it looks like you're running cover for that same operation. I'm sorry, but all that winning goes out the window. It just goes out the window. It really does. Okay, let's see how many subscribers we keep losing. You sound terrible. I gotta say I'm done with you too. So yep, you lost another one. Okay, pedo. Okay, weirdo. Whatever. Run cover. Run cover. Go where it makes you feel better. Again, if it makes you feel better, you go and you unsubscribe from me and you go to these other channels that, again, don't want to talk about this. I don't care. I'd lose it all behind this. I'd lose it all behind knowing that in 20 years, I'm going to be the one that, and you're going to be the one, we're going to be the ones that be like, man, you know what? We stuck to our convictions on this. We stuck to our convictions on this. We did. But anyways, I want to show you this clip from Megyn Kelly and Ben Shapiro debate. Megyn Kelly plays the clip from Tucker Carlson to Ben Shapiro, and boy, oh boy, does he lose it. He has like a meltdown.
Such a way to make sure that the feds never got their hands on the actually incriminating evidence. The real question is, why was he doing this, on whose behalf, and where did the money come from? And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. It's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense.
Okay, so many people believe that. You could hear the cheers in the audience when he said he believes Epstein was working for Mossad. I, on my Twitter feed today, laid out some of the evidence why people believe he was an agent. I don't know whether that's true. And if he was an agent, I don't know whether he was ours or he was Mossad or he was something else. But I know there's enough to sniff around on whether he was an agent. The most persuasive piece of which is where to get all that money. I mean, nobody's been able to answer the question in following the money of how Jeffrey Epstein earned all that dough. Why is it problematic for Tucker to say, I think he was an agent, I think he worked for Mossad?
I mean, Tucker can say whatever he wants. It's a free country. I think that if he's saying that he worked for Mossad and that no one has looked into it and that he was running a child sex ring on behalf of Mossad and the evidence should exist for that to happen, then just say the administration is covering for Mossad. I mean, if you're that certain of it, and you believe that that's the case, then presumably the case that you're making is that the administration is now working for Mossad and covering up a child sex ring. So he can say that, that's fine. But I think he should then have the balls to say what Dave Smith said, which is that the Trump administration was covering for a child sex ring that was a blackmail scheme run by Mossad. If you want to actually say that, then say it. Okay. And then provide evidence to that effect. Because the only evidence that I've seen related to Jeffrey Epstein and Mossad, so far as I am aware, is a second-hand quote from Vicky Ward at the Daily Beast, who I do not consider a verifiable source, about Alex Azar, the original prosecutor.
She was on Epstein from the beginning, though.
I mean, her being on Epstein from the beginning doesn't mean she's a credible source. She ran for the Daily Beast and she was arguing about a person who said second-hand her. Yes. So what? Vanity Fair's a shitty publication.
Okay.
Well, why is he getting so pissed off? You see how disrespectful he's getting? Man, why is he getting so nasty with Megyn Kelly here as to what Tucker said? Again, whether you agree with Tucker or not, that was his opinion. You know, obviously what Tucker said went extremely viral at Turning Point in Tampa. Many people were cheering about what he was saying because they felt like they could finally talk about it. But he's getting offended about a journalist, and he's saying that he doesn't give a shit and all this. And you can see Megyn Kelly's tone here, where she's like, wait a minute, Ben, if you don't agree with me, you don't really need to, be this way.
Consider a verifiable source about Alex Azar, the original prosecutor.
She was on Epstein
in
from the beginning, though.
I mean, her being on Epstein from the beginning doesn't mean she's a credible source. She ran for the Daily Beast and she was arguing about a person who
she worked for Vanity Fair.
Yes. So what? Vanity Fair is a shitty publication.
Okay, I'm just saying, that's fine. You can dislike Vicky Ward. I'm not running a defense for her.
But the point is that the Alex Azar quote that she is making is not even from Alex Azar. It is a secondhand anonymous quote. Thank you. Sorry. Alex Acosta, the prosecutor who ended up being labor secretary. Alex Acosta, that quote was not from Alex Acosta. It was from a secondhand source. And that said that he was told to shut down the investigation essentially because he was working for an intelligence agency. Right. That was that quote. And then
let me just give it exactly. I'll just give it exactly because we need to be precise. So she reported in Vanity Fair. She reported for Vanity Fair like a definitive Epstein article, and then she updated it in the Daily Beast in 2019 when I think it was after Epstein died, or it could have been when Trump nominated him.
It's probably when they did the investigation into the
no,
Acosta,
it had to be exactly.
Pardon, right? Or the
so she updated. He was already in office, Acosta, at this point. So she reported that. Stand by. I tweeted out. Now I'm looking to find it. Okay. That she had spoken with a member of the Trump transition team when Trump was taking office, who told her that when they talked to Acosta about possibly becoming the labor secretary, they said, is this Epstein thing, this settlement that you oversaw, going to be a problem for us? Because you're the guy who basically gave him that slap on the wrist. And that Acosta had told the Trump transition team that Epstein, quote, belonged to intelligence, end quote, and that he'd been ordered to, quote, leave it alone, end quote, and that he'd, quote, been told to back off. He later was on the record, Ben, as saying Maine Justice was the one who told him to settle that case and that they had approved of the Epstein plea deal. So that's him. We know that Maine Justice did tell Alex Acosta to settle that case. What we don't know is whether he in fact said all that stuff to the Trump transition team.
Well, he was asked about this at a hearing, I believe, a congressional hearing, and he said that there are a lot of rumors out there and you shouldn't believe everything you read. I believe was something close to the direct quote.
Man, look at this. So okay. So remember, anybody remember Alexander Acosta? Anybody remember that? Anybody remember the get out of jail free card thing? With between him and of course, Jeffrey Epstein. The report being that Alex Acosta basically had to give Epstein a slap on the wrist because of the fact that Epstein, what he was told from the Maine Justice, but he was told as a whole that he belonged to an intelligence agency connected to the United States and intelligence agencies as a whole, and that this was above his pay grade. So he had to basically give him a slap on the wrist because of it. Right. And that was the story. That's the story that Megyn Kelly is reading. And now Ben Shapiro is going back and forth with her about who posted the story, but it doesn't matter who posted it because Alex Acosta, he's been on profile for this for a very long time. This has been the story that we've known, and he's never denied it. So, yeah, I think that it's pretty insane that a former U.S. Attorney General was forced, basically. You know what I mean? Like he was just forced to not give the worst type of punishment to Jeffrey Epstein because of it. Now, that's the story that she's reading, and that's what, Ben Shapiro is getting pissed off at. So that's the name of this game. So again, that's why you see people like Ben Shapiro lose it, because he's just, again, Ben Shapiro, he told us to take the vax. Ben Shapiro has told us many things over the last few years that a lot of people just don't even agree with, period. And we obviously know that he has trouble when it comes to, the position on his Israel, his position on Israel versus his position on America. If America, here's one thing I'll say. I believe that if America stops assisting Israel, or we stop if Israel stops, if Israel's not an ally tomorrow, I think Ben Shapiro moves to Tel Aviv the next day. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That's what I believe. I believe that if Ben Shapiro, and this is the position, this is the argument that Tucker was trying to make as well. It's like the dual citizenship stuff. If you stop aiding Israel, I think many of these people would 100% move to Tel Aviv. They will move to Israel. They will move 1,000%. They'll go there. They'll be the first ones on a plane straight over there. There was a pastor that went viral for saying that. He was like, yeah, I love America. I'm America first. But if tomorrow the United States of America stops aiding Israel, then I'll move out there. And I was like, okay, cool. So there's a lot of people in our Congress, a lot of people that claim to be serving Jesus Christ or as a Christian, they have this position. So that position, because it's so radical, in my opinion, when you have stuff like this come out that, oh, maybe Epstein was working on behalf of Israel to get blackmail on certain people. Obviously, there's stories about the Israeli prime minister, former Israeli prime minister, who had ties to Jeffrey Epstein, who was seen at his house. All this stuff starts to come out. People start to do research. People start to basically connect the dots and say, well, maybe he was working for, Israeli Mossad. Then people like Ben Shapiro or other people start to come out and they start to have a problem with it and they start to call you anti-Semitic. And that's why I think there's an explosion happening between the midst. Like you have Benny Johnson now coming out. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like that he's getting called anti-Semitic. All of a sudden you have Matt Gaetz. You have people, not only Matt Gaetz, you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is actively in Congress. You have people like Tucker. You have different people that are coming out that stand with Trump. And they notice that we just do too much for this other country. We do way too much. We aid them too much. We go to wars for them. We've gone to wars for them. And now are we covering up for their mess when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein? That's the question. And that's why when you see the list basically not get released, and not only does the list not get released, the next day, Benjamin Netanyahu shows up at the White House, you start to even ask even more questions. So it becomes speculative, but it becomes like this ghost that you're just chasing, but it's just like, it feels like it's right in front of you. That's why I say what I say. And then you have Pam Bondi. Then you look around, right? You look around and you look at all these people and you look how much money they're receiving from the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, right? They are a lobbying group that basically funds people to be pro-Israel policies in Congress and the Senate. And many of them, like Pete Hegseth, he's very pro-Israel. He's a Zionist. There's other people. So again, the whole Trump administration is in bed with a foreign nation. So how do we expect to ever hold that nation accountable for what they've done if they have done anything bad? That's where you get all this conflict of interest. That's why a lot of people think that they're running cover. Trump received $230 million as a whole from AIPAC, or in the interest of Israel, because Miriam Adelson gave Trump $100 million. So that's where this comes from. This is not accidental. You got people behave. Now, if you want to go radical with it, like other people do, I don't want to go radical with it. I want to say, hey, I don't think that the way that the Trump administration has handled these files has been the best. It looks nasty. It looks guilty. And now you have given all the power to the Democrats to say, well, this administration is running cover for a pedophile ring. Meanwhile, those people have lost 300,000 children, right? But America is no longer looking at that. America is, what have you done for me lately? Unfortunately, that's what America is. What have you done for me lately? That's how people vote. That's how people are going to vote in the midterms. All this good work could go out the window if one of the most important topics and important things in this planet, which is children, which is females and young females or underage females, were trafficked and no one got held accountable. And you had the power to have more urgency or clear up what was happening. That's why I'm mad at it, because it's more like, wow, we're just going to let it go. You can't just let this go. What's the truth? Everybody wants to know. This is the most interesting topic. Another thing in closing, here's what I'll say. When Trump came out, right? Trump came out and he said that nobody really cares about Epstein. Nobody cares about Epstein, right? What's going on with some of my girls and boys? Remember when he said that? He made the post and he basically came out that nobody cares about this guy. This guy's a guy that never dies. When Trump came out, I think that was one of the biggest mistakes. And I think that that's why you have so many people split up, right? Many people are looking for content creators that just are going to praise Trump. They're going to praise Trump no matter what, whether they agree with Trump or not. as long as they make pro-Trump content, they'll be over there. If they make anti-Trump content, this would be considered anti-Trump content. I don't know why. This is just more of an outlook on what's going on. I'm not here telling you that you can't vote for Trump because we already voted for the guy. The guy has already won. We're talking about the actions of the administration as a whole, because this doesn't just fall on Trump. This falls on Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and the FBI. So when he comes out and he says that, again, that's where I beg to differ. You're telling us that we shouldn't care. You know what I mean? You're telling us that we shouldn't. And now we as a whole want to hold you accountable for those words. And then here's the worst part about it. Here's the worst part about it. You got content creators in this space that I respect telling us, who are you to hold Trump accountable? And that's the part that really grinds my gears. That's the part that bothers me, because there's people in these comments that are unsubscribing. I'm going to tell you how many people have unsubscribed since this video started. And by the way, thank you so much for sending $20. 45 people have unsubscribed since this live started, and more are going to unsubscribe. And that's okay with me. But here's why they're unsubscribing, in my opinion. They feel that you have no right. You have no right to tell Trump what to do, to tell Trump what's going on, if you don't agree with, again, that's what it seems like to me. So again, I'm 28 years old. I have to live in this world a lot longer than a lot of other people that are watching are gonna live for, right? That's the reality of it. I'm just getting my life started, for real. Many of you guys are already in your 50s, 60s, 70s. Some of you guys don't want to care about this. I respect those who really do. If you're in your 60s, or if you're in your 50s, late 50s, you're in your 40s, or you're even in your 70s and 60s, like mid 60s, and you care about this, I want to commend you, because we have to deal with this mess. We, the young voters that voted for Trump, we have to deal with this because we care about this stuff the most. I don't want to live in a world where we're aiding Israel and they're out here starting wars. I don't want to live in a world where we have to aid a country that keeps dragging us into wars, that keeps bombing kids and all this stuff. Like, I already told you my stance on this. You might think that's a liberal stance, but I think that's the most Christian conservative stance you can have. But we're gonna end up clashing. And to me, I'd rather just flush that out. I'd rather lose money. I'd rather lose, subscribers than lose my own integrity for what I love and what I stand for, because I have to live on this planet for the rest. I have to have kids here, and I want to see my kids have kids, and that's just what it is. But if you understand where I'm coming from and you understand what it is, I'm sorry. I think that this was so bad of a mess that it's so hard for somebody like me to get up and cheer. I cannot cheer, man. I can't cheer this on. It's so tough. It's so hard. But I'll talk about it as much as I can. I will. I'll keep my eye on this. But, it's unfortunate that this has been botched to this degree where you have people. I'm going to show you something real quick because I have to show you this. And by the way, I still have my stances, right? This guy said that to be MAGA at this point is to excuse the trafficking and sexual abuse of children, right? That's the narrative that they're trying to run with. This is what they're saying. And I said, the party that lost 300,000, nice try, no thanks, right? Because like Democrats, this is why I want you guys to understand, just because I'm mad at the Trump administration and how they handled this, does not mean that I'm a Democrat tomorrow, right? Democrats have lost over 300,000 kids. Democrats are responsible for this. They're responsible for the birth of this. They're responsible for the last 5 years, all these people coming through that literally were trafficked all the way over here. So I would never forget that. Don't get it messed up just by me criticizing or having an opinion on this, that I'm all of a sudden cheering for the Democrats, because that's the last thing I'm doing. That's the last thing I'll ever do, right? Because we know who these people are. We know who they are. You know what I mean? We know what's going on over here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show you something else that I saw that I really, really want to share with you. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I can't find it because I probably did not save it on my web. But yeah, so that's the truth. I saw this. Maybe this will make sense to some of us. And by the way, thank you for your $20 donation. South Carolina, South Charlotte Services says, mad love and respect, brother. Watch you lose your channel and make it better. You're on the right scent trail. Always appreciate your perspective, faith, family, and freedom. Nothing else matters. I agree with you, bro. Thank you so much for your donation, brother. I appreciate you.
I think Trump knows they'll kill him. I think Trump knows that they'll kill him. I think he does. Truly, I believe he knows that. I believe he knows that the people that killed all of those people would find a way to kill him if this came out. I believe that he knows that. I believe he believes that some faction of those people tried to kill him already. Don't quite know who, but I believe that is what he believes. I don't know that. I don't have any information on.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is an interesting. Not a lot of people are talking about this perspective as well. I did see. You know who I saw had a brilliant perspective. David Nino Rodriguez, friend of the show, one of my dear friends in the space. David Nino Rodriguez did. He said maybe Trump tricked the Democrats into wanting this to get out. You know what I mean? Like maybe he tricked them into, releasing or forcing the Democrats to want to care about this. I'm gonna see if I can find this video from David Nino Rodriguez. I'm gonna talk about this perspective as well, though. Trump's magic trick. Did Trump just bait Democrats into demanding Epstein secrets? I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Because again, I like to explore every version. This right here got me thinking many things, right? Trump's magic trick. Did Trump just bait the Democrats into demanding Epstein secrets? Haven't you seen? And for a long time, these people were the ones that ignored the whole thing, right? They ignored everything. Democrats ignored everything. And now all of a sudden, like, Democrats are the ones that, like, they care about this. They care about this the most all of a sudden. So that is an interesting perspective. Now, I can't tell you that I would agree with this because of how it looks now, right? But we'll see, right? Ghislaine Maxwell, that's going to be very interesting. What Republicans are blocking her from this. And then I want to talk about RINO, Republicans, Republicans caught blocking Ghislaine Maxwell testifying in Congress. What the F? Okay, here we go. All right, so to that perspective, another perspective that I would see. No, we still got 1,500 people in here. I was just kidding. By the way, anybody becoming members, please thank you so much. Here's something I'll say. That perspective that they threatened Trump. How many of you guys think that that's something that could be? Because if you want to dissect the situation and make a decision for yourself, how many of you guys would even agree with that, right? Like, that's another interesting perspective. It's like, yo, Trump has been probably threatened. They said next time we're not going to miss. Let this go. Don't talk about this. But I don't think that that's true, because I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it. I think Trump would rather. Trump gives me the vibe of somebody that would rather just go. Like he rather just let it. Like he rather, okay, cool. I'll pay what I need to pay. But that's another interesting perspective. So many perspectives. Here's something I'll say to close out the show. The Democrats, they're running with this like no tomorrow. And the midterms, again, are at risk. for this. As much as you want to ignore it, and as much as you want to do it, as much as you don't want to talk about it, I would say that the midterms are more at risk than you can actually imagine because of the story. You know, many people just like us, and I think it's so crazy how the tides have turned here. Don't you see that the tides have turned? You know, like, don't you see how the tides have turned? I'll tell you how the tides have turned. We, Trump supporters and people that voted for Trump because of child trafficking, because of how bad things have gotten at the border, but also the Epstein files that we wanted to see. We wanted to know. So we were the party. They were the party that didn't want to do it, right? They were the party that, basically were on some, again, look at their actions when they child mutilation or anything that you want to uncover over there. These people are the ones. But now, if you look at what's going on, it's like the tides have turned. Now they're the party that is on the side of, wanting the truth and finding the truth. And we are becoming the party, unfortunately. And I know this may rub you the wrong way because I'm saying this, but it looks like the Republican Party is becoming the party of the cover-up. And I think that's going to be a stain on Trump's legacy. It's going to be a stain on Republicans. And a lot of people are going to, again, Democrats are trying to take this opportunity to say, hey, look at us. We're the ones demanding the answers. These guys are the ones covering it up. We went from watching The Sound of Freedom, promoting The Sound of Freedom, right? And Democrats sabotaging The Sound of Freedom movie. Remember that? The Sound of Freedom. Remember Mel Gibson, promoting this movie, and he was getting a lot of flack for promoting this movie. And Democrats were bashing a movie about child trafficking. Remember that? And it's like this same party is now on the side of the cover-up. Like, that's crazy to me. And this is why I am behaving the way I'm behaving. Many people think I'm going crazy, but I'm not. You can't go from cheering on this movie, and wanting to talk about these things to all of a sudden nobody cares about Epstein. I think that's the worst possible take you can have if you're Donald Trump. That is the worst sentence you could ever tell us. So again, here we go. We're gonna read a good comment, then we're gonna read a bad comment. Randy Rogers says, "Shut your bitch ass up. You're basically a left-wing lunatic trying to be a Republican. So shut the fuck up." No, bro. This is why we're gonna lose the midterms, because of you. And again, I'm not a Republican, bro. I'm not a Republican. Never said I was. I'm a Trump supporter. I supported Trump because of this. I don't know what you're talking about. Republicans are blocking Ghislaine Maxwell. Republicans. You want to be a part of that party? Okay, be a sick guy if you want to. Stop. Don't put me in any box. I'll tell you exactly who I voted for and why I voted for them. We just don't support this whole Epstein debacle that the administration is doing. That's all it is. And it's bothering you that much. Call me a liberal lunatic. Okay, I guess, bro. Like, again, look at what he's doing. I want you guys to see what I see in real time. Because I care about Epstein and the Epstein files and debacle and trafficking, he is now calling me a liberal lunatic for having that stance. Oh my God. Oh, and it's all happening in real time, and it's happening by the hour, it's happening by the minute, and all of a sudden, the liberals are the side that wants the answers, and the Republicans are the side of wanting to move on, and that's just, this is what I mean. For example, I just gave you the example. Of somebody that now is calling me a liberal for having this stance. That's what I'm talking about, and it's happening fast. No, he's not radical right. Do you know radical right? The radical right. Let's go to Nick Fuentes. All these people, the radical right, they're all mad about how this is. The radical right is as anti-Israel as you could be. So you know that they're cheering for this list to come out. So he's not radical right. Because if he was radical right, he'd be radically saying other things. Not that right there. I don't think he would say that. I think he's radically just, again, some people take the Trump support way too far where Trump can't do no wrong. And I'm not saying that Trump has done wrong. I just don't like what he said. I think that what he said is terrible. It's a terrible look, and we should try to fix that. If you have a problem with that, then my friend, you have a mental problem. I can't help you with that. That's on you. But I don't think you should call me a radical liberal lunatic, because the only thing I've been talking about is having accountability for this main issue. Radically confused. I agree with you, man. He's radically confused. He is radically confused. That's good. That's too good. Just do what's right. Greg, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you for being here. Evidence discovery for the trial has strict rules for admission. I think that has something to do with it. Or if people demand firmly not letting it go, maybe both. No, because there was phase one, and phase one was literally court documents that were unredacted. The only one that could redact that would be right now would fall in the Trump administration, the FBI, the DOJ, Department of Justice, like that. That's it. We have all the control. There's nothing to do with that. You're right on this. Thank you for being on the side of truth. It's top versus bottom, not left versus right. I agree. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for your donation. If it causes a war because it's worldwide, look into the UN. The world is failing because of wants versus needs. Maybe before 2026 midterm, release it when you see. Yeah, I mean, or like I told you guys, just make arrest from again. But if you have no proof, how can you make arrest? And that's the dilemma here. Is like if you have no proof, you can't arrest anyone. You can't build up a case against anybody. And then if you release the files and people's names are just on it, but there's no proof that they've done anything, that's the problem. So this guy just may be that untouchable that people look. The common sense thought here is people are asking for this list to come out legally. If you release a list of people that have been on this island, would you then have proof that they've done bad things on this island? I think we had that. I think that's what we have. I think that's not, but again, I don't know. It's a very, very, crazy thing. Diddy got arrested anyways. In due time, deadline still the 20th. We'll see what happens. But again, I don't think, I think I just want to, give updates and stuff like that. I'm very interested in this. Very interested to see, how it is that we as a country would handle this, especially people that voted for Trump. This is one of the main issues. Like, this is one of the main things. Children is like one of the, like, am I lying when I say that? I don't think I'm lying when I say that. Like, children are one of the main reasons of why we voted for Trump. Like, that's one of the main reasons. Because, okay, here's why I say that. The trafficking going on at the border, that's one of the main reasons we voted for Trump. The missing children, that's one of the main reasons we voted for Trump. One of the main reasons we voted for Trump would be because of this, because of the fact that, hey, okay, the gender stuff, gender affirming care, right? Ending gender affirming care for children under the age of 18. If you're 18, you can have the surgeries, but you can't have the surgeries, or doctors can't perform surgeries if they're under the age of 18. So they can't perform surgeries on these kids. That was a policy from Trump that he campaigned on. So I'm not gonna lie to you. That was one of the main reasons that we voted for Trump. Like, children, many people, right? Like, there was people. This is how important that issue was. There were people in this country that have family members who are here illegally, and because they have children in this country and they saw that Trump was taking that issue serious, they voted for Trump, even with the fact that they have family members that could get deported the next day because they voted for Trump. That's how important that issue of the child sex changes and all that stuff, like, that's how important that was to a lot of people, even if their family members are like here illegally. Like, they would trade that in to protect children in a heartbeat. I saw that. Trust me, that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people came together with differences. Said, you know what, I'm a citizen, even though I got, family members that might just get deported. I don't care. I care more about children, sex changes, gender affirming care, all this crazy stuff. I want to see that end before I, vote for Kamala Harris. That is a true thing. That's how big. Basically, my example is that's how big of a deal that was. So, this is why I think a lot of people are considering the way that they've handled this a slap in the face, not the actions, so to say. Because if there's no proof and the proof have been deleted and things have been messed with, I could believe that more than I could believe you telling me that this doesn't matter. So, that's my explanation for this. It's like, yeah, you're telling me that this doesn't matter. I don't know if I want to. I think that, you shouldn't say that to your audience, especially people that really do care about this. You got older individuals, right? 57, 58, 59, 60, 65, 70, 75 watching this channel and saying that they care about this, So it's not so much of everything else, it's just more of the way that this has been handled. That's the whole issue about it, in my opinion, So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be it for this live stream. Appreciate everybody that came through and was able to talk about this. Hopefully, we can all stick together and hear each other out. Sometimes I am enclosed on this. I'm very enclosed. Don't want to hear other opinions until I calm down a little bit, and I'm able to listen to people's comments and I'm able to intake information. But sometimes, it's hard. It's hard to take information, especially from people that are constantly telling you to just shut up and forget about it. That makes it way worse. that would never make it better. That would never make it better, bro. It would never in a million years would that make this situation better. You telling me to shut up and forget about it? Oh, no. That's the worst mistake you could do to somebody my age, and worst thing you could do to anybody any age. But, what? You want me to shut up? Huh? What? You want me to stop? Nah, I can't. See you guys on the next one.